Welcome to Friday Morning Dharma on January 24th. Why don't we go ahead and settle in for some meditation? As always, you are free to take as your role model for meditation posture and any aspect of meditation, the mountain, balanced, grounded, stable, silent, and still. Day after day, year after year, the mountain simply observes silently. Rain may fall on the mountain or not. The wind may blow. The sun may shine. A flock of migrating birds may fly past the mountain. The mountain simply observes silently. No praise, no blame, no hope, no fear, no speculation, no expectation. Be a mountain as you silently observe sensations within your own body mountain. A perfectly valid method of practicing this meditation is for you to observe sensations in so-called isolated parts of your body, your hands, your feet, the region of your chest, and so forth. An even more valid method of practicing this meditation is for you to observe one universal sensation that extends from the crown of your head to the tips of your fingers to the soles of your feet and all space in between. Whichever method you choose to practice, please simply observe silently. No judgment, no labeling, no comparing, no conceptual activity whatsoever. Simply observe for the sake of observing. You are not the mountain, and you are not separate from the mountain. There is no mountain, and there is no cessation of mountain. Please gently, gently redirect your awareness. Become aware again of this collection of parts we've agreed to label physical body, and allow your breathing to become less shallow. And taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of physical body. Become aware again of your surroundings inside the room that you're occupying. Deeper and deeper breaths, and become aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you're occupying. We dedicate all of the merit, all of the merit from this morning's meditation to world peace. May all beings without exception enjoy an abundance of pure air and water, delicious, nutritious food, safe, warm, dry, reliable, affordable shelter, and comfortable, functional, attractive clothing. And with everyone's basic needs met, may we all enter and progress on wisdom paths that lead to complete liberation from all forms of suffering. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Welcome back, everyone. So this is the fourth Friday of the month, and it's questions and discussion. Um, and our question this morning was offered by Ann Nace, who ironically isn't here this morning. Fortunately, we're recording this class, and she'll be able to um, watch it later, hopefully. Her question, in so many words, had to do with a section of the book that we haven't gotten to yet, involving Milarepa. Milarepa, the 11th century yogi of Tibet, really regarded as the saint of Tibet, patron saint. And Milarepa, it's just a great story. And when we get to that section of the book, I'll tell a little bit about um, the story of Milarepa. Um, our 15 minutes allotted for discussion won't be long enough. But in essence, Milarepa, when he was a boy, was had some bad things happen to his family, and he retaliated. He learned black magic and brought revenge onto the family members that brought hardship to him and his family. Used black magic to do some really bad stuff. Um, Came to see the error of his ways and developed deep regret through the assistance of his teacher, assistants, air quotes around the word assistance. You'll come to understand why later. Um, kind of purified that negative karma, entered the path of meditation, the path of Buddha Dharma, and achieved full enlightenment in that same lifetime. He was a hermit for much of his life, lived in caves in the Himalayas, and there are pictures of him. Well, almost all pictures of Milarepa depict him as having green colored skin because he lived in his cave and subsisted on nettles soup. That was his main nutrition, was nettles soup. And he ate so much of it, it's said that legend says that it turned his skin green. So anyways, beautiful, beautiful story. And Anne's question was with regard to Milarepa and other yogis and yoginis who retreat, who retire into solitary retreat in caves and other meditation hermitages. How is that, in so many words, Anne's question is, how is going in living in isolation, meditating all the time, how is that benefiting anybody? What sort of contribution is that making to a better world? Right. And it's a question that over my meditation life, I've encountered many, many times and contemplated myself many times. And I think one factor in that question, or the mind that gives rise to that question, has to do with culture and conditioning. We're Westerners, right? We're Westerners. I think everybody on this call are not only Westerners, but Americans, right? And doing stuff is what we do, right? Get stuff done, we got to be productive, and there are, it's easy for us to lose sight of the fact, I think, that there are other cultures, and as a result of conditioning, whereby being is allowed, just being. Not only is it allowed, it's revered, right? So just kind of a completely different worldview, kind of a different lexicon, right? Yogis and yoginis who meditate a lot are really to be honored and revered and supported in some cultures. Along the same lines, um, in Tibet, and maybe it's still the case in places like Nepal, it might still be taking place in Tibet, places like Nepal and northern India and Bhutan and other places. I mean, it would be, it's customary for families to gift their firstborn son to the monasteries, right? At age 8. Age is a typical 8 is a typical age to do that. You know, we in America, we would think that's crazy and never think about doing that. But in other cultures, it's what's done, and with honor and a great privilege to be able to offer their firstborn son um, to the monasteries to become ordained as a monk and be raised in the monasteries as a monk. So kind of it's a cultural thing. I think another um, possible answer to the question um, has to do with the inspirational image that Milarepa and other yogis present. Um, I speak from my own experience. I have been inspired many, many times by not just the story of Milarepa, but the image of him. I've got a painting in my house. They're called tankas, a big painting of Milarepa sitting in front of a cave with green skin and his pot of nettles soup on the fire. Yeah, and all the other kind of features of that Tanka, they're called. I've read his life story. I've lost count how many times I've read the story of Milarepa. And he has inspired me as much as anyone, save my own teacher in this lifetime. And Milarepa has inspired millions and millions of people throughout the world by doing what? I mean, yes, there are parts of the story, you know, being a minimalist, um, purifying that negative karma that he incurred, horrific karma that he purified and was able to complete the path in the same lifetime. But just the example that he sets or set by being in meditation, renouncing the things of this world. We were talking about technology before, just things of the world. They're impermanent. They will not bring salvation. I need to take refuge in things, true objects of refuge that can bring salvation from suffering. Starts and stops with meditation practice, and Milarepa lived that, and source of great inspiration for that. So, to my way of thinking, that's the greatest contribution one could make, is living the example of having renounced things of the world, dedicating his whole life to getting off the karmic wheel, to liberating himself from samsara, achieving nirvana, living it, providing that example that it can be done for millions and millions of people, despite his not being out in the world and doing things. Right? Another one that is a little more subtle, but equally important, I think, has to do, as with almost all things, I think, non-duality, right? I think we all know that there is this phenomenon out there called the collective consciousness, right? Collective consciousness. My consciousness is not the same as Frank's, Jill's, you guys, you Zoomers. It's not the same, and they're not separate, right? As a result of a number of factors, such as the shared experience that we have, the shared experiences that we have, there is a collective consciousness that we are all a part of. I don't have time to explain how those dots connect. I've done it in many classes before. I'm not that thing, and I'm not separate from that thing. My consciousness is not the same as yours, and it's not separate from yours. I am part of the collective consciousness. Therefore, the more I can purify my consciousness through practice of training the mind, the more pure contribution I make to the collective consciousness, right? What I do with my mind affects you. It affects every sentient being in this world. Stop and think about that for a minute, how powerful that is. The more pure my mind becomes as a result of training my mind with a virtuous, selfless intention, the more pure my consciousness becomes, the more pure the collective consciousness becomes. And thus, every sentient being throughout space, without exception, benefits. How much more powerful is that of a way of contributing to the welfare of others than going out and organizing a rally or whatever, having people sign a petition, I'm not saying that those activities are valueless. I am saying that they pale in comparison to purifying my own consciousness for the sake of the consciousness of every sentient being in the world. It's a bodhicitta motivation. It's a motivation that a bodhisattva would have. So that's my best attempt at the at Ann Nace's question. We're out of time. Otherwise, I would invite you guys to share your thoughts on the matter. Please send questions. Please send comments. Please send objections if you have them, and we'll take this up. We'll take up more questions and comments in our next question and discussion session, the second Friday of February. Okay. Have a great weekend, you guys. Thank you for being here.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're most
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. What an interesting lecture you gave. It was very good.
okay.
Yes.
Thanks, Teta. Thank you.
As usual.
Take good care.
Okay.
A good weekend.
Thanks a lot. That was great.
Thanks. Thank you.